My name is Joshua Bay. I'm a public benefits specialist at McGinnis Elder Care Law. Today I'm going to talk about transfer of assets. Many people who are applying for Medicaid come to our office having transferred an asset. They're often wondering what will happen next. I'll cover some of the possible scenarios in this video. First, let's talk about the types of transfers. Transfers can include altering or establishing joint accounts in which the individual gives up or limits his or her rights of access to or interest in the asset, establishing an irrevocable trust, purchasing an annuity that doesn't satisfy the Deficit Reduction Act of 2005 requirements, waiving entitled income or benefits, purchasing an irrevocable burial trust that exceeds the value of merchandise and services, or waiving or giving up an inheritance. Determining what happens after an asset transfer depends on several things. One is whether the asset was transferred for fair market value or less than fair market value. If the asset was transferred for fair market value, the Medicaid applicant will not be penalized for that transfer. He or she will have to provide TennCare with supporting documentation showing the value of the asset and what was received for that asset. If the asset was transferred for less than fair market value, TennCare would penalize the Medicaid applicant. One example of a less than fair market value transfer is when the Medicaid applicant or the spouse transfers the ownership of their home to their children. TennCare will consider that a gift. If TennCare considers your transfer a less than fair market value transfer or gift, TennCare would penalize the applicant. TennCare would take the value of that gift and divide it by 182.42, the daily rate, or if it's a rather large gift, TennCare will divide the gift by 54.72, the monthly rate. The numbers are subject to change over time. If the transfer is completed prior to the 5-year look-back period, it is not counted as a resource or an asset transfer. The look-back period starts on the date the individual is both institutionalized and applying for TennCare Medicaid. If you continue to gift assets, it resets your look-back period. For example, if you fund an irrevocable trust with $25,000, the look-back period starts then. If 2 years later you add another $25,000 to that irrevocable trust, the second deposit of $25,000 resets the clock on the 5-year look-back period. Some asset transfers are not considered asset transfers of less than fair market value. Here are some examples. The asset was transferred to a spouse prior to the establishment of institutional Medicaid eligibility under spousal impoverishment policy. See the resource assessment policy. The asset was transferred from the institutionalized or the HCS spouse to a community spouse during the 12-month transfer period after approval of TennCare Medicaid and was part of the community spousal resource maintenance allowance. The asset was transferred to or for the benefit of the owner's totally and permanently disabled minor or adult child. The asset was transferred to or for the sole benefit of the individual's spouse or from the spouse to another sole benefit of the spouse. The asset transferred is the individual's home entitled to the home is transferred to the spouse of the owner, a child who is under the age of 21, an adult child of the owner who has been determined to be blind or permanently disabled according to Social Security Administration criteria, a sibling who has equity interest in and has resided in the home for at least 1 year prior to the individual's institutionalization, a child of the owner regardless of age who resides with the individual for 2 years immediately prior to the individual's nursing home admission and provided care for which permitted the individual to reside at home. The asset was transferred exclusively for a purpose other than qualifying for TennCare Medicaid, such as satisfaction of legally enforceable debts. It's no secret there are rules for Medicaid qualifications, and the transfer of assets are complicated. If you have any questions, just give us a call.